New Zealand Dairy Farmer is proudly brought to you by Hanson Products, providing Kiwi farmers with water system solutions for over 50 years. Welcome to New Zealand Dairy Farmer. This week we're in PIRONGIA in the Waikato. We've travelled here to talk to Joyce Brown from Smash, Smaller Milk and Supply Herds, and local farmer Henry Koning about ongoing concerns and actions regarding farmer wellness and support within rural communities.
We've been here 26 years, coming up 26 years. The bank owned it and we had the joy of living here and doing all the work 26 years ago. And we consciously made the decision to buy a property that would have a huge amount of flexibility, that either of us could operate it and that we could enjoy our children and do other things that were important in our lives. And it's more than filled the bill for that. It's been a fantastic place to live and a great base for our family life. We had extended family and priorities in our lives that have always been important really, and we didn't want that to be jeopardised by our farming operation. Before we had children, we were share milking with big herds and made a conscious decision that in the long term this is how we wanted to live. There's 180 cows on it now. We've milked between 140 and 160 most of the time we've been here.
During the time that Joyce and her husband Warwick have farmed at PIRONGIA, Joyce noticed a creeping issue in the rural community. The health concerns of local farmers seem to be taking a back seat to productivity and profit.
But all the way through that, I was very aware that farmers, both the owners and the staff, were pushing themselves physically and mentally, sometimes with very drastic results and very sad results, and sometimes things that could have been easily fixed if they'd actually gone for help. And farmers were very quick to call the vet if there was something wrong with an animal, but to take themselves to the doctor or sometimes to take their children even to the doctor was a no-no. And with my nursing background, I was very aware that people were neglecting themselves in a huge number of ways. And that got worse and worse as I aged. That's not the right word. I got older, and I think along with a lot of the dairying population got older too, that I was more aware of the issues that people said, oh, it doesn't matter, we're too busy, we haven't actually got time to seek the health care we need. And the other half of that is it's not always readily available in rural communities. I think there's actually two sides of that. So it potted on and on and on, and I was fully occupied with family and all the other things. I milked in the afternoons. Warwick's always milked in the morning. I've milked in the afternoon, which has been a great team effort. I'm a better mum when I didn't have to deal with preschoolers at tea time, and he got to see his kids and go to school camps and those sort of things. And we also took active involvement in our wider family and their needs. We've had 5 seniors in our life that have needed our support, and our home base has allowed that, so each of us could be with others when needed. So that rolled on really for 30 years. And suddenly the opportunity came when Smash was born. A neighbour and I had a cup of coffee, and we shared our concern that smaller herds were being forgotten in the dairy industry. And the result of that conversation with the two of us, and then with Dairy NZ and other people that were prepared to support us, has evolved into what's called Smash, Smaller Milking and Supply Herds. And one of our key priorities, is that the word for it, our beliefs was that we need to be holistic in what we're trying to do. And of course my health concerns really thought, yes, this is what I want. I guess that's how I felt about it.
With the advent of Smash, Joyce was able to start to formally take action to address some of the health concerns among the farming community.
Just putting up with things like skin growths, like constant headaches, like going to the shed when they really should have been in bed, you know what I mean, with all sorts of infections, not really treating wounds properly, not finishing a course of antibiotics because it looks better, you know, the things that I think a lot of people do, not just farmers, but it was even the basic care to go and get something stitched that needs stitching. I was actually asked one day to stitch up somebody because they said, oh, it'll save us going to town. You know, and they would have gone to town to get something for a cow. That's what really, and I didn't actually do it. I wasn't set up to do that. And that was never my role. But the expectation was that, oh, you're a nurse, you'll fix us so that we, A, don't have to pay, 2, don't have to take the time, and C, it's actually not that important anyway. And I think that's evolved as the dairy industry workforce has aged too, and I guess we need to go back to when Smash was born at their first conference. I thought, this is our opportunity to actually check these men that never go to the doctor. That was sort of part of my logic of it, because it tends to be the men. I think women look after their own health and that of their children, but they can't talk their men into going to the doctor. So at the first Smash conference, we decided that this was going to be an opportunity to grab people that were already at an event in their morning tea and in their lunch break. And we were going to give them a quick check. And at the first year, it was a very basic check. It involved a nurse from the Rural Institute of Health, based in Cambridge, who came along and was going to take people's blood pressure and weight and things like that. So that actually led to Dairy NZ, which is funded by our dairy levy. So it's actually our dairy suppliers' money involved in all this. It led to them saying, we actually want to support this, because it tied in with a whole lot of concerns they had about the people involved in the industry and how best to support them. And it also put on the page, actually, we need to look after the people. I think it actually clarified things that a whole lot of people had been thinking, and I think the time had come for health pit stops, really, and the other things that have evolved since then as part of the Dairy Wellness Project, which is funded by Dairy NZ, and there is a joint project going on which involves ag research, funded by the Primary Growth Partnership. And so now the whole project has become called the Farmer Wellness and Wellbeing Project, to try and look after people both physically and emotionally and mentally.
After the break, we talk with local farmer Henry Koning about some of the issues he sees on a daily basis and what actions he's taking to create a safe and productive working environment. See you after the break.